Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Friday the 15th. And market is down considerably here. So let's go to the chart. Which, if I can find it. If I can find, there's the chart. Okay. So the E-mini yesterday, the news was of, over here we were talking about $2,000 stimulus. That was the day's video. Well, at the end of the day, Joe Biden revealed his plan, and instead of a $2,000 stimulus, it was a $1,400 stimulus. So the market seemed unhappy about that, and in the overnight, it continued down. And the reading that I'm getting now is that the stock market doesn't believe that they can pass that bill. So I'm not quite sure. I suppose that means they don't think that it fits the qualifications that Manchin had set out. But we will see. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on this because I think this is something where there's a probability of somebody coming out and saying something. Because, for them to come out with their first bill and then not be able to pass it, it would seems like awfully bad for their overall agenda. I don't think that they would allow that to happen. So this is one where I would be on the lookout for breaking news that's positive here, okay? In the 10-year, here, the same thing. In the 10-year, so we waited all day. I wanted to go short. And they did eventually move down, but they waited for Chairman Powell to speak and kind of put the kibosh on any kind of rate raising anytime soon. So that happened, and then the whole stimulus thing happened, and now we're back up because they don't think that it's going to happen, apparently. So if we come through and go through all of the other instruments, you can see kind of basically the same pattern. They're in oil. Gold is still just kind of chilling down there, as is copper. Well, copper took off and then came right back. So, and then the dollar. What about the dollar? Dollar ranging. Still actually a little positive in the dollars, so. Come back over here to the main chart. We've got some PPI numbers coming up here in a second. And we also have retail sales. And then later today, we've got consumer sentiment. So there is a lot of news coming in today. That's probably going to be our first thing to look at. It's going to be tough because you got the weekend and everything, a lot of news and a lot of economic news. So I think we're going to have to play it fast and loose today. Good morning, Win. How are you? U.S. Treasury reportedly blocked an attempt by the Pentagon to force the divestiture of the internet giants from American investors. That's interesting. I wonder what it is, because I wouldn't think that those companies would be involved in anything that the military would care about. Well, that's interesting. Anyways, let's come in here and turn on the text to speech. Okay, so we need that. Actually, I have some food here, so we've got about 3 minutes, so I'm going to eat a little bit. Rising fix adds to bearishness. Yeah, I am. So this whole thing, I mean, if it's just that they don't think the stimulus is going to pass, then okay. We also got earnings starting up right now, right? We're not going to get Goldman today, but next week. Goldman has been doing really, really well lately, as all of the banks have. I'm concerned about, what happens from there, because normally just any talk of stimulus at all would be really positive for the market, and anything that says like, oh, we're not going to get it or whatever the deal is, the market just would shrug off. That was the basic gist of the last 6 months, right? Now all of a sudden it's not doing that anymore, which kind of suggests to me that these guys are like fully invested. Like passing a stimulus bill could move them up, but we would have to wait until it comes, because right now they don't have more money to put into it. You know what I mean? Which would imply that some sort of consolidation is going to happen. But it might not be more than that, Might not be a big deal. But then when the earnings come in, and if the earnings don't meet expectations, then that could be sort of the thing that pops the bubble, per se. I listened to his plan. It's very generous. I'm not sure anyone is feeling too generous now. His plan read more like a wish list to me. Yeah, it doesn't seem realistic, does it? But with the complete control in both the House and the Senate, it is possible. And you kind of have to wonder if there would be inflation if that happened, right? Because they want to not just give people checks, but to increase the minimum wage and all these other things. So, okay, so there's a number. Okay, the retail sales X autos is -1.4 versus a 0.1%. So, the overall number is -0.7 versus an expected 0. So that's not good on the retail sales spot. Okay, now on PPI, core PPI less than expected spot 1 versus spot 2. Overall PPI month over month spot 3 versus spot 4, so lower than expected. Well, I think that is a buy over in the Treasury. We're going to try this averaging in thing again. Let's see what they do. So that sure was a lot of volume. Oh yeah, New York Empire State Manufacturing Index is 3.5 versus 6. So it seems like all of the numbers were bad. I mean, the inflation is not as high as expected, so that's good for the treasuries. But the retail sales number wasn't good. The Empire State Manufacturing Index wasn't good. You can see that the indexes generally are moving down off of it, but we're down overnight overall. Positioning shows us equal, so that's a little difficult for me to calculate out how many people will actually be moved by this. Over here in the E-mini, in the treasuries, I think they're gonna toy around with us here a little bit, but eventually we'll move up. As now Zero Hedge says, ignore the December retail sales spending soared in the January on the back of the latest stimulus check, as Bank of America card data showed. That's true. So here they're saying retail sales don't matter in December because they'll be good in January. Yes, but then what after that? What after that? But I guess it means that number is not too important. I'm seeing the dollar move just a little. Well, let's just watch this. I'm going to turn on the Texas speech spot, and I'm going to eat some oatmeal here.
David White says bond vigilantes to the rescue.
Well, I don't know about vigilantes, right? It's the opposite. I guess it's the bond vigilantes covering maybe to the rescue. I mean, it looks like the treasuries are going to move up. Okay.
Ryan Graves says a flying cars FWDG 10 to 20 bagger GSAT VGAC. Winston's mom says in 2012, Paul Krugman claimed that should the much dreaded bond vigilantes show up, they actually would be good for the economy. Was he right? Lol, and good morning David White.
In 2012, maybe. So here's the thing about 2012. That's actually, I'm surprised that you found that from Paul. I don't remember him saying that. You got to remember that in 2012, the big argument was that the Federal Reserve was still keeping rates low, and many people, particularly Republicans, for that whole second half of Obama's term, right, were saying that the Federal Reserve should start raising interest rates, you know? So there was this argument, and I think that it was true, that the low interest rates only work for so long, and that there are certain things going on in the economy, like, for instance, banks that require higher interest rates to get going. And so raising the interest rates a little bit could actually have a positive effect on the economy. And I think that that's kind of what happened, was like they raised the interest rates just a little bit. And then you added the fiscal stimulus on top of that in the terms of lower taxes and all of the removal of regulations and so forth. And what did you get? You had this burn in fumus. It just like stoked the fire. But then they kept raising interest rates. And they probably should have let it sit where it was for a while and, do it again. But it gets complicated, right? But here, especially in the treasuries, it's just like a madhouse. We've been up and down big several days this week over all of this stuff. It seems to me that the balance in the market is very delicate right now. What does CCIV talking about the cumulative commodity index? I'm not looking at that at the moment. From time to time, I've had that on my charts, but I'm not using it at the moment. The edges that I am focused on. Oh, I didn't turn the robots on. Good grief. It's supposed to remind me when. I've backtested them with including CCI, and that didn't help them, so I don't have it on there right now. Eli says Churchill Capital. Oh, are we talking about a stock? Okay. The market is ahead of its skis. We'll see by how much. Well, yeah. Remind me to turn the robots on. I don't know. So the thing is, we still got consumer sentiment. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the consumer sentiment numbers are. But I'm worried that the consumer sentiment will still leave us sitting here being like, kind of, I'm not sure. You know what I mean? It's not the bus you see that hits you. Yeah. I don't know. There's so much going on right now. And when I watch the bigger thing is like these moves earlier in the week when we caught buys and like it really went, I could see a clear bias on the part of the market makers. Like it was really obvious that they only wanted to absorb one way because they knew. I'm not necessarily seeing that in this situation. It looks like the market makers are picking up contracts all over the place. Well, they decided to push a little lower here. We'll see. Like agreed neutral sentiment could be mid-March for stimulus. Yeah, if we even get one. Okay, so and just note that 24 they busted through that. So hardly any contracts absorbed there. Equity put call ratio has been pointed to. I haven't seen that one for a long time. That's David White is a new name too, by the way. There we got a guy in the equity indexes channel, Chewy. That we'll talk about that from time to time. But it just continues to be like it's too low. So.
Blunt 420 says we have 7 days of chop around all-time highs. The secular bull must decide if it has the ability to go higher. I would expect pullback to the 20 and 50 before it makes a real run.
I don't know. That sounds like a prediction that is a little bit further than our ability to really do too much with, right? I can say I can only recall the market being this slow like once or twice before. One time that I remember was on the recovery after 2008. There was this 1 week in the summer that was just absolutely dead. Like the index barely moved 1 or 2 points for like a week. And that one, I remember right after that, it just took off. There didn't need to be a pullback or consolidation or anything like that. It just went. So I think that maybe some of what's going on here, though, is I think a lot of people are concerned that companies will not be able to maintain the valuations that they've been getting when earnings come out, and earnings come out next weekend. So I think that might be a big factor here. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if like the whole, like, we could just say it pulls back and then it's going to go up. I think it really depends on what the economic numbers are. And at the moment, I don't think that I can even guess what they're going to be like. Like Tesla being a great example. I would not expect Tesla to be able to meet the earnings expectations. But last time we thought that was what the case was going to be. What happened? They pulled these EV credits out their butt and was able to continue on, right? So
David White says JPMCWFC all out this morning with earnings. Winston's mom says Canaries in the Coal Mine. Bruce Budd, 2017. Canaries in the Coal Mine. The Tale of Two Signals, the VIX and the MOVE indexes. Blunt 420 says 3,741 is the 20 on S, 3,662 is the 50. Keep an eye on the daily to see if you get support or a failure at those levels. Fail the 50 and you have a staircase short down. David White says monthly OPEX today also.
man, I know what you're talking about. Like, then we come over here to our daily ES. And we come to a 50-day moving average at 36.66, a quarter or so. I've actually done some back testing on the 50-day.
Short squeeze.
And I tell you what, there's definitely something to the 50 moving average. But just based off of whether we're above or below it is not terribly predictive. You know what I mean? Like this whole thing, like if it gets below it, sell, and then gets back above it, buy, doesn't overall work. If you were to just, when it gets above it, buy, and then exit the position when it gets below it, that works. But a drop below the 50 just kind of suggests that they're probably overdoing it, you know? Anyways, you were mentioning that JP Morgan and Wells Fargo and C were all out this morning. That's true.
420 says actually you wait for confirmation of the move. Just don't buy or sell because you hit it.
So now you get into more. Okay, so what if what do you specifically consider confirmation? How would we quantitatively define confirmation? It gets complicated then. I think that most people just say, "Oh, well, I look at it and it keeps going, so that's confirmation." But that is can be your brain just seeing what it wants to see, right? In order for us to really be able to define how effective that is, we need a hard definition of what qualifies as confirmation. And the issue with confirmation is, I'll come back over here. We'll zoom it in to the last time here. So here, say we were to just wait for, so say we're doing a strategy, and it just takes a trade at the beginning end of the day, okay? So here, if we were to say, if we cross above the 50-day moving average, we go long, then we would be buying at 34 and a quarter, because that is the daily close when they closed above the 50-day moving average, right? So then if a close above is not enough confirmation, then what is it that we want to see? We want to see another day of positive, for instance. Well, then you're talking about maybe I'm not going to buy until 35.08, right? And when you really start going into that, you kind of start to realize that the more confirmation that you wait for, yes, the less false signals you might get, but it just kind of ends up coming out even. At least every time that I ever try doing this sort of thing, it doesn't really help, because what you gain from a better probability, you lose in the overall profit that you make in your reward ratio, right?
Correlation does not imply causation.
Mm.
Blunt 420 says the chart you are looking at has double bottoms at support. You went up.
Oh, I could go back and I could go and do a study with these, and actually, I haven't run this study on this chart, so let me show you something different, because that's the one that's interesting to me. But
says, where is Madi 2?
I have some data that kind of says it's not really such a great way of playing it either. So you see this chart right here, how when we get like a pivot, that it draws this little pink line off of it. Do you see that? It might be hard to see on the screen because it's only like 1 pixel. But every time, and you can see that it draws a little triangle above it when it happens, okay? So here on this move down, you can see where it says, okay, there was a pivot, there was a pivot, there was a pivot, there was a pivot. And the way that it defines that is like when there is a close above the or below the previous bar's high or low, right? So you got something.
David White says WFC 4.14 C1.30% JPM 2.16.
They're down? I don't know. I'm not too worried about the banks because they've been doing really well anyways, and they could just consolidate here after the news. In fact, they might sell a little bit, and you might be able to just pick them up for more. Anyways, okay, so you get, this is a signal about when is there a turn or a major top or bottom with a really well-defined signal about when does that happen. And that's what this is showing. The triangle shows where that happened, and the circle is where it's been confirmed. Okay, so I went in and I did this. I said, okay, so if we come and we're moving up, and then we get close to this one here, and we don't do it, and we end up confirming a down circle, then what I want to do is I want to say, okay, there's resistance. I want to go short off of it, bouncing off of this, right? The same thing if we were to do like a double bottom or something, like right here would be a great example. Here, move down. Comes back, high or low. I want to buy that. Okay. On a 1 minute and a 5 minute chart that I tested this on, this is not a profitable setup unless you set a really, really wide stop. So the funny thing about it is that the probability is that when you're getting situations like that you're tight and that it's going to that you're going to get volatility on both sides of those anyways. So you can't just buy it because it will often come back, go through this pivot, go through it a little bit, come back up and still end up going higher anyways. And in fact, because you're getting those turns and twists, the chances of it doing that sort of thing are actually become higher. So doing any kind of like a higher low sort of a setup on a 1 minute chart ends up not doing very well. And now I was able to get it to do, if there was an exact double bottom where they were exactly equal, it is rare. You have to have a wider stop. That is, they are likely to bust through the pivot. But if your stop is like twice what that distance from the pivot is, then it does overall tend to go your way. So there's maybe a slight edge there on that, but it'd be awfully hard to take advantage of, right? So it gets kind of interesting. So that's on a 1 minute chart. Now, is it the same on a daily chart? Well, I guess I can't say because I haven't explicitly tested it that way. But I just think that it kind of gives you a pause there, right? It's like things end up being a lot more sophisticated than that. And here, especially on a daily chart, what you're giving up from, if you were, let's just say you were to get out of the 50, right? You're just off of the daily closes, you're getting out here. You're not getting back in up until here. So that's, that's a good, let's see here, 35 to, yeah. So that's like a good 30 points that you lose out on, right? You're actually, by getting out and getting back in on this particular one, you're not making as much as if you're just buy and hold in the E-mini, right? So does it really help you? Doesn't really help you. Can you add, why would I add a hike in the ashy candle? You can describe the exact setup. We can try backtesting it. There's some issues with hiking the sheet candles, though. They are backtestable, right? But well, I don't want to mess up this one. I could make a new chart here if you want. That is, what were we doing? 1 minute bars. 1 minute bars. Oh, I didn't come up over here. It's so big. Just get it right there, and then come in and put them on. No, not minute. I can ashi. 1 minute. There we go. And you get hiking issues, which don't really actually look all that different from the regular bars, actually. Other than the coloration. And you get that. We should come back over here to this main window here if we want to. We can put it there at the bottom for you. And so on these, it's like, so yeah, the issue with these Heikinishi bars is like the close is not actually the close. So like if you were to go in and do a back test and say, I bought here, I'm going to take the close of this bar. The close of the bar is the Heikinishi bar. Then you're not actually going to get the price that it says. So something that some people will do is they'll go in and they'll backtest Heikinishi bars and they'll be like, oh, it does so great. And what you really have to do is you have to add 2 data series and read the Heikinishi bars for your signal and do the entry on the other data series. Let's make the smooth 10 periods. Wait, is that a property in here? See, I don't mess with these very often. Oh no, that's not a property. Or you, when you say HA, do you mean like a whole moving average? Yeah, so Mari, the when I've seen people talk about Heikineshi setups, it's often something like you're getting an uptrend and then you get X number of orange bars and then a blue bar, and then I would want to get long here or something like that. You use them for trend indication only. Okay, but current trend is the immediate current trend is not necessarily indicative of whether or not your trade in the direction of that trend will be profitable or not. There is autocorrelation, but all the autocorrelation tells you is the probability of seeing a buy or a sell order at some point in the future, and it's only a very, very small percentage autocorrelation, like 0.5%. Otherwise, it would be as simple as just putting on a trend indicator on your chart and going with it. Well, the E-mini don't look so happy. Add a 20 moving average to chart and a line? What do you mean a line? for the current price. Lay out the exact entry and exit condition. And we'll just write it. E-mini taking another little dive lower there. Like, that's the thing. I don't really need to look at it on a chart or anything, because just me putting on it a chart doesn't tell me anything. I need to program it and backtest it, right? In fact, we can come in and we could say something like, new strategy, HJ. But a cocaine line. Freaking sugar daddy. Yeah, we'll write it. Looks like while we're waiting for the treasuries to ever move. At the moment, that doesn't look so great. It may end up being constrained until the consumer sentiment news. I don't know. You write your own ninja script. I do. If you look in the video description below, I have some indicators of my own that you can download. It's like a 2-week free trial on that, and then if you have to be an elite subscriber to the channel after that. And my robots, which, well, one of them took actually it says it took a long here. One of my robots took a long here. We'll see what happens. But these are all based on the indicators that are, most of them. Most of them are based on indicators in that indicator package that you can download, and we're testing them because they're worked pretty well over the past year. So Madi says, I kind of don't like futures anymore. I should give stocks a try. Well, there's deposits to stocks, right? So for day trading, kind of end up being a real mess. Because first of all, you have to have a certain size account for them to really do it without limitations, because they limit the number of pattern trades that you can take over in stocks. And then the kind of trade that you're taking is basically like do a scanner, find a stock with a certain kind of momentum, and then get in. And so you end up with this issue where you're trading with the crowd all the time, right? And you're trading something that you don't necessarily understand. But the advantage that you get is that stocks tend to move up overall, so you can kind of use that to your advantage. But it's not like, oh, I'm not making money trading futures, but all I have to do is switch to stocks and then I'll start making money. No, probably not. The day traders over in stocks tend to lose money too. They maybe make it a little bit longer, I guess. Okay, so what do we want? We're going to add and data series bars period dot well, I forget what the right way is to do this. Let's come back over here to which one is it? I'm not sure I can show you this or not. I did it on Brandon, right? Yeah. Oh, that's right. Bars period type dot Heikenshi. Comma 1. When are testing that one strategy on top step? I don't know. Well, the robots that we've got, they've got to trade for a couple more weeks, I think. Some of them need fixing. Okay, so that will add the Heiken Eshi bars on there. So then we could come in and we could probably do something like this. First, we'd have to say if bars in progress equals 1. That would be if we're on the Heiken Eshi bars, right? And then let's do something like, let's say that if if open of 0 is less than close of 0 and uh, 1 and 2 dot. Okay. And save that and see what it does. Oops. Oops. Okay, I gotta make this tiny smaller. Okay. Okay. And let's just do like the last week. Close that. Include commissions. Oh, oops. I thought I just turned that off. That's funny. Okay. That's weird. Well, that's suspicious. Did something happen to it? Oh, please use an alternate method. Okay, so do we actually need to say, and Heiken Eshi? Will we get 3 choices? Oh, okay, we have to say Okay. I think it's full name here. Yep. Comma. Bars, period, type, dot. I think we say minute, comma, 1, comma. Do we need to have the market data type, huh? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, it does look like that's actually not all that important. Okay. Like that. Okay, so we're getting the industrial production numbers now. Oh, and we got our oh wait, what? Oh, that's weird. Okay, let's see if that works. Aha. Okay. So then you also wanted SMA, my SMA. Else if state equals state dot data loaded. My SMA equals SMA 20. Okay. The verdict is that it takes trades, so now you have to define the specific conditions. Okay, so what is the setup? Sounds like he's going to say if you cross below the 20-day or the 20 period moving average and there are certain conditions on the Heiken Nishi that still indicate long, then you take it long for X ticks, right? Best practices and experiences. No. That's not how we work around here, Blunt. What we share is actual hard numbers. See, when it's just like this is the way that I do it or my experience, then what you're doing is you're leaving it up to be vague and for it to look like whatever you want it to look like. But once we actually sit down and we say, here's the setup and here's what the probability that you get when you follow that setup, then you actually have like hard numbers about whether something works or not, right? Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm sure those MIT dudes already figured out that's something. Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of how I feel. So what happened to that order that was up there, right? I had one out there. So let's see what I did. Hmm. Oh, I see. I see. My original buy was at 26.5. I bought it down here, took it back across, brought it up. That's why the average ends up being there instead of there, which is what I would like. So I should have put two of them up there. Is high frequency on one core better than the same frequency divided on two cores? Well, where are you buying something that it only has two cores? So I think that I'm going to guess based off of what you're probably looking at to be only looking at one or two cores, that the actual processor itself, like the specific model of processor, is going to be more important than any of those other things. You know, like if you're looking like an Intel Core 2 Duo, then it matters which generation it is. Well, I'll just leave that up there. I'm going to close this because we don't need that anymore. Yeah. So the here I pulled up the qualifications for hike and S sheet bars. So the close is the average of the open, the close, the low, and the close. Open is 1/2 is the average of the open of the previous bar and the close of the previous bar. High is the max, is high is the high of the bar and low is the low of the bar. No, I mean multiple cores. Well, I mean the more cores that you get, the better, because you got to think about it like for back testing, right? If you're, doing basically, if you have two cores, it'll take half as much time, right? But what I'm getting at is that most of the processors that you're going to be looking at today are going to have 16 cores, right? So if you're looking at less than that, then you're probably looking at like these low-end $80 CPUs. Banks miss earnings, yes. I'm going to wait until all of them have gone through, right? Because I don't know if... I certainly don't care about Wells Fargo and Citi, right? And who was the other one today? It was JP Morgan, right? Yeah. JP Morgan beats profit estimates on better than expected credit record trading revenue. but there's other things that they're not happy about. Yeah. Well, I have to say though, Gary, like the banks have been moved up so much lately anyways. Like Goldman is like at a 52-week high or whatever. I mean, like they were running really high. So if you had been long into it and the earnings on this are a little disappointing and they pull back, I don't think that you're too concerned about it, right? Certainly not on the long term, because like the thing that is mind-boggling to me is that it's like, okay, so Goldman, they're doing really well, but they're not even close to the area where I would be like, wanting something to happen. Like when interest rates inevitably rise. That's like so far in the future. And there are some positive things in those earnings. So I don't know if them being down for a long-term play really tells us much. Mm-hmm. Manu says that the hiking issue will eat you alive in a choppy market. I don't know. I've never done a test with them before. We just wrote something up that will take a trade for us, right? So now we need to know what the exact entry criteria that he thinks we should use it would be, but he hasn't said anything. If it's the same gen, would core numbers still trump core frequency? Yeah, unless the difference in core frequency is like, the core is half as fast. But that's being like really generalizing it. You'll be able to search and just go, okay, here's the exact model processor, and then the exact model processor of the other one, and there'll be benchmarks on them, and you'll be able to see exactly how they perform on different tasks. You haven't owned any bank since 2007. Really? Really? Wow. And I've had this play for a long time. I probably wouldn't have bought it if they hadn't have given it to me, but now it's like, well, I got it. Might as well hold it to the thing. I am thinking that I might want to take some profits on it soon, but I'm still at the point where I'm just not too sure what's going on. What's going to happen next? Because I look at it and it's still like, all these stocks are going to be, it'll take forever for them to justify those valuations. There's a lot of analysis that we have to do whenever those earnings come out that I don't think we have the time to do at the moment. Citi says roughly 10% of employees are back in U.S. offices. Only 10%? Really? That's crazy. Oh, I didn't notice you there, Ace. Good morning. Feel confident Biden wants to vaccinate 100 million in 100 days. Yeah, I am a little perplexed at everything that's going on over there about that. That like, it just seems like they're just throwing out stuff there to feel good about themselves. You know, I don't see how they coming out and saying that has anything to do with whether or not it's actually going to happen, you know? Here's the open. And I am still a little weirded out by the fact that the market wants to sell it so aggressively when earlier in the year, anytime that there was concern about the stimulus bill, they just shrugged it off. You know? Now all of a sudden it's like, you're not going to be able to pass that. You say, lol, who's getting mad? I mean, I would probably do it, but I already caught it. And I'm probably going to be one of the last people to get it. Well, so at the moment, it definitely looks biased long. It also looks like that the Treasury is reacting more to the S&P 500 than anything else. It's kind of curious. But with this long in the E-mini, I'm a little skeptical about it just because the overnight action was negative. So I think that I need to see like a pushback first before I do anything with it. But number two is that we do have like news at the top of the hour. So it's kind of almost like anything that happens at the current moment might not even matter anyways. I guess we could have bought it there. The spot that I was thinking about taking it there just now would have worked out. You say get ready for forced vaccinations? I don't think that they can force you, but they're definitely going to make it. They're definitely going to incentivize it, aren't they? Okay, so a little bit of resistance here, but so there are some people selling it at 37.78, but it looks to me that it's not breaking through 37.79 at the moment, not because people are pushing against it, but because the people aren't willing to buy it up there yet. Your employer will make you get the vaccine, maybe, yeah. I don't know if my employer will care. Like, the funny thing is that if my employer came out and they said, okay, guys, if you want to come back to the office, you have to get vaccinated. Otherwise, you have to continue working at home. What do you think everybody's going to go do? Well, I'm just going to continue working from home then, right? Not going to get the vaccine so that I can keep working at home. That's what they're going to do. If you're a hermit day trader, you don't get to have a vaccine there again. So I really think that I'm going to be like the last group, right? So I'm not at risk and I've already caught it. In fact, I kind of feel that once all of the older folks have gotten it, that I'm not exactly sure that you really need the whole population to have it before like everything's fine and you can ignore that stuff. Seth is the only face I see. Oh, that's bad. I don't think I need to refresh this. I don't know what happened there, but something killed it. Oh my gosh, I got so mad. So I made this chart, by the way. I should probably close it. I added a chart yesterday to try testing the histograms being backtestable. And it turns out that the whole thing of me setting the value and stuff on a historical basis, they like the order of operations don't come out right, and so when you try and access it, you just get no value. And I'm not 100% sure what causes that. It's definitely not what I expected to happen. The whole thing was just kind of weird, but I was really disappointed because I really wanted to run backtests on that. Lockdown weekend activities may include looking for a hard drive with 280 million of Bitcoin on it, Welsh landfill sites. Ugh. Wow. That sucks. Yeah, tell that to the guy we just watched get over COVID in 3 days. It really is kind of like, I don't know. The thing is when you look at me having caught and gotten over it, though, I think that it should give you pause here, especially how I have been in the post-viral, what is it called? Syndrome. Because it seems to me that if I were to have caught pneumonia from it, that it would kill me. If I had caught pneumonia from it, I think it would have killed me. Because I'm definitely getting the cytokine storm going on. Like, I keep coughing up like almost pure white mucus. So it's basically, it's like just nothing but cytokines because the body is overreacting to it so severely. And if that was in your lungs, yeah, you'd be dead. Gary's engaged. Congratulations. I know, right? Gary and AIDS. I'm so proud of you. What supplements or meds are you taking? Oh man, I don't think I can tell you everything that I'm taking. Well, I guess I can. I just don't want to. So I take Orange Triad supplement. is the multivitamin I take. And I have the Lialda that I take, and I take atomoxetine for my ADHD. Is there a specific thing that would make you worse in a post-viral syndrome situation? When I get pneumonia, I just smoke more. I keep trying, but I think I'm cursed to wander in this earth. You're coughing your lungs. Well, I get this thing where it's like, right. So like I can make like a real actual cough sound, and sometimes I'll get a tickle where like I really just start coughing up a storm, but nothing comes up. There's nothing there. Like it's gone. It's just important to take vitamin C, D, and E. Yeah, so I've been doing that. And I've been like, I'll in the morning, when I take my break in the morning, I'll go and I'll lay under the sunlight from the window. I'll lift my shirt up and lay on the floor to soak up some sun. It helps. I actually think these lights too kind of provide you a little bit of that. Newly sworn in GOP senator suggests delaying inauguration. Okay. Yeah, there hasn't really been too much interesting on Twitter today, has there? Do you think ES will get up over 37.69 today? Well, I refrained from taking any trades over here in the E-mini because the way that the open was it was a buy when we had been down overnight, and was a little skeptical of it and wanted to see them work it out, and wanted to potentially see what happens at the top of the hour. But now, by the way, if we get that, we can. But now it's like I look at this chart since the open, and this almost looks worse than yesterday's chart in terms of the amount of rangy mean reversion-ness of it. Okay. Richard got it in February. Well, I had one person that told me at 5 p.m. that they had gotten sick, and they basically had to be on oxygen. I don't think it's like, the thing is, the way that the public has reacted to it has been like, oh, I can't catch it because if I catch it, I might die. No, you're probably not gonna die from it, but it is like 1 in 10 people that might have to go to the hospital. Like it's not a joke. I certainly would not intentionally pass it on to people. Like I wouldn't go to they have those like chicken pox parties and stuff like that. No, I don't think it's like that at all. I think you don't want to spread it. You don't want to spread it. So I don't think that you need to be afraid of it, but I don't think you want to spread it. Yeah, COVID doesn't kill, pneumonia does. That isn't. Yeah, it's true. But I'm just saying, if your body overreacts to COVID, it really overreacts. And if you have it in pneumonia, it can kill you. And especially if you have risk factors. So hope that Ace's wife didn't end up catching it, because that would be one where I think that you could potentially have problems, right? We've basically just been given a new avenue to pneumonia. Not ideal, but like not turned. Yeah. Well, you know, when I look at narratives and what people believe about it and what we've been saying this whole time and everything, it seems to me that they went down a path that was unnecessary and incorrect. And the public wouldn't be reacting the way that it is today if they had been smarter about this. And in particular, I don't think that you can turn around and say, oh, it's unsafe to have this store open with it, and we need to close all of these stores, and then say the only store that's allowed to be open is Walmart, and it's only allowed to be open like from 6 to 8 at night. Because then all that means is that everybody has to go shopping at that time, and they go to Walmart and catch it. And hence, I don't think that lockdowns have been successful. Let's hear what they say. Many family members have got it, but we are quarantined well. But the wife hasn't caught it. Well, the treasuries are getting pushed down today. I guess, I did kind of buy it on the whole PPI thing was like one of the main drivers, but yeah, I always forget that the treasuries don't react to the PPI as much as the CPI. Correct. Spouse is okay so far. Okay, cool. Biden team is retiring the warp speed name from the vaccination push. So do you seen this stuff where like they're the main guy, the main science guy that was in charge of the Operation Warp Speed, it was like asked to resign by the Biden administration and everything. It seems to me that the Biden administration is just doing the political move so that they can take the credit for it. They have to get rid of everybody and any semblance of that it was done by the Trump administration so that they can pretend that they did it. By the way, how are the robots doing here? Oh, Indy was long in just the right spot. 37.75? No, 71. Oh, man. He picked that one almost perfect. Okay, well, it looks like we are wrong over here in the Treasury, man. Holy crap. I have just blown this too many times this week, so... Oh, whoops. Oh, no, that's not what we want. Okay. Mom done over there. I haven't taken a trade in the E-mini yet. Dems claim they got COVID with the January 6th. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, this is one of the things that I think is just the craziest is them saying that, there's no way that anybody catch it from like, rallies and stuff. I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? It's 100% going to spread it. But maybe those are all healthy people and it's okay. I just don't. Delta says no masks was the reason they put 6 Senator Romney hecklers on their no-fly list. Yeah. It always comes down to the masks on the airplane flights, and but I keep seeing headlines about that. So it's like the media is really focused on people getting kicked off of airplane flights for some reason. By the way, there is a lot more. Well, there's not a lot of really big orders out there right now, but they are larger on the bid than they are on the ask. Former federal judge says Senate has no constitutional authority to impeach Trump once he leaves office. We'll see. Is there going to have to be a Supreme Court case about it? Now, I keep thinking back to the Treasury, and it's like the days where I've just been like, okay, I'm just take one, and then I'm just going to let it go or not. And those ones that worked well, and then a couple of other ones where I felt like, okay, got one, and let's like absorb some stuff up in here and everything. Like this whole one, that one should have worked if I had taken the 2 up in here. But then I kind of didn't pay attention to what I was doing, I guess, because I thought I was only along 2. And then I hauled all the way down through here and puked and watch it turn back up. But there's clearly some issues with me trading treasuries still. Every once in a while I get like news and it's really clear which way it should go. But now I think I'm like 2 for 4 on that, where I thought that I had that situation this week and I was wrong on it. Why didn't Trump pardon himself? Because that would just piss him off. Disney announced that it is canceling its annual pass at its Disneyland and California Adventure theme parks. Really? You can't get a season pass? Oh, my brother-in-law is going to be devastated. Oh my gosh. Hmm. Man, when I go through and I'm looking at it, like the Treasury really took a dive there, man. I guess it's not to yesterday's lows, but I kind of wonder what's going on here. Octavia says it's been a tough week for me in bonds as well. Yeah. But would you say it's the same for the same reasons, where it's like you really thought that you had a really good macro play there and you just ended up being dead wrong on it? So here today, the context was, okay, inflation numbers not as high, producer price index, sales not as good, and that, I think, and the index is overall moving down, should be a pretty good situation for the bonds to move up. And then instead what happened was the S&P 500 moved up maybe 5 points and the bondholders puked. But I suppose that maybe no trade in the treasuries would have been the appropriate one, because I haven't taken a trade in the ES. It's kind of starting to make my trigger finger itchy, but you know. Oh wait, you know what? Just realizing I just forgot that like we have the news in 5 minutes. Been getting washed out using weekly numbers. Well, I guess that makes sense because there's been moves. I mean, what can you say? Okay, so it looks like Joseph took the hit there. Indy's still caught such a good position that he's still hanging on there. I'm gonna close these windows over here since we never came back to it. Just less stuff updating. Oh. Well, even the Treasury pulling back here now. Your plans for the holiday? When even is that? Is there a holiday on Monday? I don't know if I get that off. Okay, 1 minute. And seconds. Okay. Okay, so we get in consumer sentiment 79.2 versus the estimate 80. Current conditions 87.7. Inflation's expectations I haven't gotten yet. Hmm. $2.7. It's increasing still. Well, a little interesting the way that it behaved there, because the number was slightly under expectation, but I was just reacting to that when the number came out, they definitely bought it. But then, it's pulled back here, so they do appear to be having some issues here now. Hmm. And the Treasury's not really reacting too strongly. Okay. Well, I suppose we could try one again over here, but let's stick to one contract now, huh? Ooh, okay. No, they're going now. Is that okay? That's equal to that last pivot low. Should note. And the overnight low is still 37.65. Okay. Well, look at her go. Let's see here. JP Morgan warns card loan cautious shock to come. What does that mean? And I didn't see that come across my feed, so that's curious. Maybe you mean card loan, not card. What's this? Look at her go. Okay, well, that broke the overnight low. Holy crap. Yeah, that one's worth clipping. That's perfect win. Good job. So we're getting a pause here, I guess. I'm really surprised at how that went. Whew. Okay. So that one worked. Still trading pretty furiously, so I think that there could potentially be more on the short side. I'm still just a little, I don't know, man. Posted the expected move on ES, it's there. You're short. I'm Something else is going on here. Stonk's getting the ginger stepchild's treatment. Wells Fargo CEO returns are significantly below where they should be. I'm hearing something from the Europeans about they're upset that they're not getting as many vaccine doses as they wanted. UMich sentiment survey softens in January as inflation expectations jump. I don't know. It was like a 0.8 miss. The market actually initially bought. Yeah, India is gonna be doing the dumb here. This is where India needs redo this. Indy and Joseph should all be off, and Brandon should only be going short. Well, who knows? Maybe Indy makes something out of this. So how about we just... Well, I don't know. I'll leave it on. Today is risk off. I'm just wondering. This feels a little overly dramatic to be just a technical move. You know what I mean? Because that is a real, like, there was a drop and significant increase in volatility because of it. You know? Yeah, the banks, the macro Pfizer delays in your Paul. I suppose that the combination of them all can definitely be. So you said you posted the target spot, and I didn't see us. I'm going to look it up here. Downside 37.44. Tell you what, that happened awfully quickly, didn't it? It was like my idea was, okay, like they're gonna go for the low of the day. I want to be short on this and see if there's like some stops that will come in, and then it just went. like that was more than just like the stops that I was expecting. So that's why I was like, it's been a while since I caught a good winner that surprised me that much. Because after all of that, I was kind of sitting here thinking like, okay, maybe it's just going to be another tight day again, you know? Because the market didn't directly, there wasn't anything in any of those numbers that the market like directly reacted to right away. The only thing that I did see was that when the consumer sentiment news came out, they bought it. Like the robots seemed to buy it. I don't know. It was weird. I guess the thing is that it seems the move seems to be correct to me based off of the macro picture that we've been getting the past 2 days. But there's other things about the order flow and the volume and so forth that don't match up. If it doesn't move more than 0.5 to 0.75, I'm not doing anything under, forget it. Well, I just want to note that in the Treasury, they haven't completely recovered. So I kind of find it curious if the E-mini is really going to go into all panic mode that the Treasuries don't buy all the way back up. It's like, okay. Oh, there was another step. This 24.5 seems to be like a flip area where it's like, well, we haven't seen a ton of contracts trade there at this. Well, like, look at it. Can you see the profile, how it kind of dips there at 24.5? So they slipped through that price when we moved down and when we moved up. I don't know what it is, but they don't like that price at all. Well, it's trading a lot more than it this time, so maybe they'll fill it in. Let's see how long it takes ES to hit 37.40. Well, I do have to say, if it goes and hits that, well, let me rephrase that. You seem to be coming in and were bearish from the beginning, right? So some of the banks missed on revenue. Well, Wells Fargo and Citi did, right? JP Morgan didn't miss on revenue, my understanding. But maybe it was some of those other components, because in JP Morgan, they made money off of the trading revenue. I didn't realize that TradingView had streams beta. Maybe I need to start streaming over there. Send it out both ways. See, it's not going to be built into... You're long ES? Well, the robot is, I think. Wait, where is it? Yes, one of the robots went long ES. but I would ignore him. So remember, this is the one where I'm saying there's something wrong with it. There's something about the way that I function. Like it ends up being a mean reversion trade. And the issue with it is that when you are getting a really strong downtrend, it tries to take the trade over and over and over again. So over the past year, despite that, it comes out making money from our back test. But I really don't feel comfortable with it trading it when it does that, right? So I could come in and I could say, well, this is a situation where we don't want him to trade anymore. And as soon as that low of the day broke, turn him off, you know? But I don't know. I don't know what I can do to go, because whenever I go in and change it so that, you know, like I could come in and I can just say, based off of a moving average, and when we're getting a trend like this, you can't trade it against that moving average. I could do that, right? It makes the strategy worse. So somehow it bottom fishing ends up working out for it at some point. I don't know. But lost 815 on it too, so it got hurt. I think that it will try doing it one more time, and then that strategy should hit its limits. Let's see here. I should put that output thing on here, and I should clear this window so that when it hits that, it should spit out a little notification to me. Yeah, they're not going to have it on stream IO, so. But maybe OBS has improved some of this stuff. Okay, so they're still going. And it has some strategies that work better on shorts that we could maybe do. Well, what am I getting here? So at the moment they are beyond the stop out. Well, they gave themselves room with that last one, but this is kind of a spot. I'm not saying that I would counter trend it, but yeah, 37.44 was what I had for that first target, but Biden not good for the market. Well, you kind of gotta wonder. It seems to me that catalysts that normally would push the market higher have not been doing anything this past week. And when you get something like that, that's the thing that makes the gears start turning in my head, that like something's going on, you know? That we're getting a regime change of some sort. There's multi-stream in Streamlabs OBS. Did you really make 10K like live? Okay, well, there was a little bit more extended of it, the flip, right? See, that might be the volatility target bounce. Well, looks like this is a fairly new feature. I was reading through about multi-streaming, so I don't want to give up on the YouTube, but I bet you we could pick up people from TradingViews, so. So right now you only got 2. I'm kind of tempted to try the short again, but it's going to be an exciting the next 3 weeks. Well, if they're going to just straight up sell here for the next little while, that would probably be a really good thing, right? I think in the long run. These guys over here in bonds, I think they got caught with their pants down, man. Mhm. Okay, well, the buy is still looking pretty strong. Hmm.
Block buy.
So look at that. 5K bot, 5K bid hitting into 27. You didn't get a more bullish uptick than that. Good grief. Well, lots of things report next week, right? So we just had like a couple of weird things happen here. So I should probably be on the alert now, right? How are you doing?
Block sell.
Well, so in the treasury, I don't think these really count, but I wrote it all the way down and then picked it all the way back up. So let's call that one even though, I took more contracts on the down, so it's really a loss, but these aren't real trades, right? Over here in the E-mini, I tried taking it long once after the news and it didn't work out. So then I flipped around short and I made $120 off of that short, which makes me net $75. Now, what they're doing at the moment is taking out the average true range stop. Apparently, some of these banks are like really getting slammed. This is definitely, if this is going to be like a trend down day, then this would be the spot where it's like they'll turn back down short from here. They'll like wash out some more shorts here a little bit, and it'll seem like, okay, like they're going to recover and they're going to move up for the rest of the day, and then they'll turn back down, and then they'll just go down until they reach the second target, which would be 37.14. JP Morgan Chase released $2.9 billion from an emergency pool of money, which helped push its profit 42% higher in the fourth quarter. Citigroup and Wells Fargo also loosened their rainy day funds. Joe taking it long, say it ain't so. Well, he got a little bit of a win there. I don't know. Okay. So that was it right there. You see there's some absorption up here now. Okay. Nope, that's not it. Hmm. Hmm. It's pretty I'm always searching for the right phrases here, man. It's pretty choppy seas out there. Making me feel a little seasick. And you see the way how aggressive the buyer is here? Okay. Stop rocking the boat. There you go. Okay, well, the pace of the tape has definitely slowed down here. Darn, damn. What's wrong, Axelrod? I should have used aggressive. Came here was said that was like the most bullish. Like I knew, or when I said that, I was like, well, I know for a fact that that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue ticking up. But I didn't know what the right word was to use. And I was just reading again. It was like, no, the most aggressive. But often those can mark tops, at least short-term tops. So it's been chilling here for a while, hasn't it? Hmm. I'm sorry I'm being so quiet. There's just not much to say here while it's doing this, I don't think. Twitter's still pretty quiet today, interestingly enough. Also looking pretty aggressive. Not much follow through. If everyone made monies on this bounce, if they fade under 46, 44, yeah. If they go for another new low, then this ends up being like a really, really bad day. Because not only would it end up being like the full VIX target, which is rare. Well, not rare, but it's not good. But it would be on a Friday to close the week out. And when the index closes with like a clear drive like that, that's usually a really bad sign. You got to be careful about where things close because they can manipulate it, but when it closes as a trend day to make it happen, like, look out. YouTube is going to demonetize you if you stay quiet? No. Seasonal trend is lower for January? That's kind of interesting. The whole setup here is just kind of a little odd, don't you think? Like, again, the thing that stands out to me is that pieces of news that would normally make us move up have not done so this week. It seems to me like the regime has changed. Even if this doesn't lead into some larger downtrend, it seems to me that the regime has changed. Okay, so the seller's not really taking it out there. I do see some people trying to buy it and it just not really moving. We're out of the counter trend period too, by the way. Okay, now the buyers are maybe pulling it out. So I'm gonna bail here. Yes, you mentioned choppy season. I went looking for Good Friday dad joke, and I found out that sea shanties are taking over. Yes, I when I run it, like the first few times, I thought it was funny, but now I scroll past those ones. Well, I don't think they're out of the woods yet, but okay. I don't know. Well, we should note that there's that 65 area. So 65 is where like the floor really fell out, right? We may finish the day around. Oh, at this point, I don't think I have any clue what it's going to do. I guess the trouble is that I don't really have. I'm still not quite sure why it fell so hard. Hmm. The freaking so Financial Juice has this little alarm that will go off when the news is about to hit, and it's really loud. But if you don't have the window open and active, then it doesn't go off. So sometimes I'll be going through my tabs and then go back to it and open it up, and I'll get this woo, and it's that just like freaked me out just then. Kate Bendler, good morning. How are you? Hope you well. Yes, resistance. So I forget where was the 50-day moving average isn't until 36.65. We're not anywhere even close to that. The market fell due to COVID emergency vaccine was given. Let's maybe You know, that one was kind of interesting because I heard it on my Squawk, but I didn't actually see it on Twitter. Stocks Euro blunders. Pfizer says EU vaccines will be delayed. That was it. That's correct. Yeah. I guess it did hit Twitter eventually, but it wasn't hitting Twitter like at the time that it fell so hard. Yeah. And it fell hard before I heard it, quite a bit before I heard it on the Squawk even. So it seems to me like it was a piece of news that didn't disseminate to the market evenly. By the way, what did... Oh, I have it right there. The Bitcoin's not doing so hot today, eh? Just kind of what I expected would happen today, that there'd be some profit taking, so... Yeah, it's been a choppy morning. I mean, the thing is even after this downturn that was so aggressive, after that, it was really choppy, wasn't it? And then we kind of went through a little period where it slowed down, and then they pushed higher, and now they're coming back down. And I think that they may actually flip down lower. We'll see. It's looking good so far. Looking bad. I guess it depends on which side you're on, but it looks like they may push down the bottom side, but not quite yet. They're like literally right there. 54.50 or so. Judge in Salt Lake City declined to downgrade a criminal charge for one of several people accused of flipping a police car and setting it aflame in May, rejecting an argument that prosecutors improperly used gang charges to ratchet up charges. Well, that's interesting. Wow. Tweeted from the CFTC, when Bob got an offer, his research didn't include a background check on his broker. He lost $175,000 of his retirement savings and was one of nearly 3,200 victims who lost a combined $46 million in precious metals scam. Watch Hunter Wise's Silvery's Slope. Hunter Wise's Silvery Slope? And is this a video? Are you going to get a video? Yep, there's videos. Wait, is this on the... They have a YouTube channel? Well, I'll watch that later. Okay. There's another little step lower, but still not breaking the neck. Oof, that's it right there. You could see there was some stops on some people expecting that pivot to hold. But this is where I'm saying that like when you get those pivots, they actually are likely to get washed out. Okay. Okay, so that's wrong. Let me come back in here and check out my strategy thing because that's not what I want. It needs to be OCO. Okay. Ready for another round? Well, now I be careful about what I just said. Like, remember I said that like the chances are that when you get a pivot like that, that they're going to go and get it. But the chances are also that you don't really know if it's going to bounce higher or lower in the long run. It doesn't tell you. So just because we broke that doesn't mean that we're just going to take off to the downside. Although at the moment, it sure looks like the shorts have the momentum on their side. This is the euro tanking. Oh yeah, look at the dollar is just like crushing it. 9.63. They've busted through that resistance in the dollar that stopped us on Wednesday. I can see also, I kind of missed it, but I can see that the treasuries did go and take another step higher. And my robot took another ill advice. Oh no, wait, he took a short. Oh really? Wait, what did he get? 37.59. That was a little better than me. Yeah, stocks on pivot. Okay, so there it is again. Now they're going after the ATR stop. I have to say this yellow and purple line on this chart here, that is average true range stop. They straight up, they gun for that price, man. If you have a strategy and it is using that as a profit-taking target, it seems to me that they go for you. They will specifically stop you out of their trade and then go lower. And I see it almost every day. There's not like an actual probability that I've discovered associated with this that we can turn into a trade, although it may exist. I haven't found it. But there is definitely something going on here, and there's like some negative edge to it of some sort. Where for an order on a pullback, the sellers know that above the ATR stop zone that they will be able to have more liquidity to work with. So they let it come up there. They start absorbing the contracts in here and then let it dump further. We come over to this chart. You can see also where they bounce to. Buyer's cost basis not able to hold up above that, and now coming down. I'm expecting. Well, if they decide to go for another plunge, it's going to be really ugly. Yeah, if they decide to go for another plunge, they could make it to 3,700, which that is further than what TradingView had, right? TradingView had 3720, something like that. 3716. So that's pretty nasty. That's pretty nasty. If they're gonna break a new low, it could get really nasty. Oh, she add a clip for me that they took the short. It's funny. He's you see India's making it. He's doing it good. He's I believe that if this short for Indy continues to work out, that it will cancel out the all the losses that he made. Oh my gosh, the baby is very upset. Hold on. I think he's okay. Oh, did A's take a short too? 52? You took it at 52? Wait, what? Was that one? Was that just the FOMO trade? You know what? Like one of the things that drives me crazy is that it's like, okay, I understand his entry signal, and from time to time I will use it. But there are other times where he takes a trade. I am mocking your trade. There are these times where he will take a trade and I'm like, why'd you do that one? And it's like, well, it's like it's going and I felt like I missed it, and so I FOMO'd into it. And he tends to make money on those ones too. Oh, do I have it over? Did I have it over there the whole time? Baby Asher is meeping. Oh, he is crying. I guess he hit himself hard enough to make his mouth bleed, but he's okay. He will get into this thing where it's like, I'm in pain. Why aren't you making it stop? As though he doesn't understand yet that pain is an immutable property of the universe, you know? Okay, well, things got pretty ugly on that last turn down. They are bouncing a little bit here, so it's still not a for sure thing that they're going to go for the lows of the day. They did get to where the shorts were making money again, and they bounced off of it, so... No, I'm not gonna bring him on. He was asking if I bring the baby on. No, I didn't. He's unhappy, so we'll leave him be. Forex Live tweets Bitcoin tumbles and down 10% on the day. Yeah. Well, I tried to warn. I saw Gary Norton. He had said, "Oh, I had bought some on a buy." So I was concerned. I was like, "Okay, like you realize what's happening on Friday, right? You don't want to be in when that happens." I'm not saying that it's going to crash now, but there's a big risk, enough of a risk that if you're long, it's probably best to get out now, and then you can get back in on Monday if it's not. Nothing happens. The baby is probably a good trader. Well, maybe someday he will be. Uh-oh, what's this? Oh, that's odd. These aren't always giving me the... I don't know which one took a stop loss there or why it's like that, but I think that buy limit was Indy's take profit and it didn't quite get it. So the buying that we're getting here is actually not too bad. It's not too bad of a buy candle there. Wouldn't you say? Ooh. And now now that is interesting. It is not, so you're getting that pretty aggressive buy action on this move up, but it is not happening with volume at all. Like they just came back up a good 10 points and there is almost no net change in cumulative delta. Keep the baby, I can't quite concentrate. Sorry. Could you still hear that? Oh man. Well, I'm not quite sure what to make of this. This is how they wash. I mean, it could be. When I look at my inventory cost basis, it does suggest that people were absorbing short against it going up into that 3760 area. And they took some profits on the way down, but not a ton. It down this candle up, and let's see here. We'll have to wait until the end of this candle. We'll see what it does. 5 seconds here, and we'll see. Did it increase or not? Did not. It decreased. Interesting. How did it decrease the cumulative delta flat like that? Well, they're definitely doing something, but it seems beyond my ability to really analyze what they're truly doing. I can hope that they're going short. Thinking of diversifying a bit, opening another account for swing trading. I've never really been good at. Well, so I've been doing some of these robots that I have are taking what I would consider to be a swing trade. Because the risk reward ratio is like 5 to 10. They probably still qualify as day trades, but and these are the ones that are in particular looking for like volatility squeezes and that sort of thing. That sounds good. Okay, well, they're turning back down. I would like to see them cancel out that big candle that kind of led to all of the strange cumulative delta divergences at 37.49 and 3/4. So do you see there's an order there? Interesting. Although it just moved as they moved back up there. Oh, that's curious. Now that one, the cumulative delta is rising a little bit. Oh, do I enter those manually or would I enter? Well, so I have them as robots. I'm personally not confident enough in them to let them execute it on their own yet. They're still in testing, so I think we have to let them run for a couple of weeks and see how they do overall. Clearly today they didn't do so hot, did they? I'm a little mad that Indy literally came a tick short of its target. Do you see where his limit is down there? So they actually touched him but didn't fill. Bill Gates is reportedly the largest farmland owner in America? Really? PIQ tweets, see Sanji's fix this once. Okay, are they coming back up here? This move has the deltas on it. Okay. Yeah. That one. I don't remember what we did on last Martin Luther King Day. What we wrote. It's interesting. Donald Trump's approval rating in Pew is 29%. I don't know why Trading Floor Audio is retweeting that, but whatever. So no, I mean they're in QA. Do I need to say that? You've been around, you know, the robots that we're talking about here are still in the QA process. Well, Indy had a good short there and he didn't get it. It's not stopping. I guess he will try and take another one. He should be done. I should be getting the message that he's done. I don't know why it does not. It may have something to do with, I don't know. Maybe it works on the whole account and not the individual strategy or something. Starting to notice on Twitter a lot of people pointing out that Bitcoin took a hit today. It's not like below these lows from last week or anything, but it was a decline, and I definitely think that there's probably some profit taking going on where these guys don't want to be long into this weekend. Maybe the robots need a QE Fed bailout. Well, so the algorithm. So one of the thing that is unique about this particular one right here in particular is that it has like a daily stop. So if it loses more than $1,000, it's supposed to stop trading. And I'm supposed to get a message in the output window that tells me that it stopped trading, but that's not showing up even though it's over 1,000. So I don't know if it's that it would need to take another trade for it to catch that. I don't know. Let's come back and look at the code here for it. So it seems like it's broken. Oh, no, here it is. Yeah. If current P&L. Current P&L is less than or equal to the negative loss limit, which would be 1,000. So if current P&L is less than or equal to negative 1,000, which is true, it should tell me inventory bar's daily limit hit. There's also a streak limit. That should happen. I don't know why it's not. Now, one thing that I could do is I could tell it, you can't take 2 shorts in a row. That would be interesting to test. Or maybe you can't take 3 in a row. Let's say you can't take 3 in a row. Bitfinex retweeting David Gerard. No public news from the New York Attorney General about the Tether documents, but I'm sure everything is good and Bitcoin will go to new and greater heights as Ifinex is completely vindicated. And then, oh yeah, it's plummeting. I don't know. I feel like that they are celebrating too early. Oh well, whatever. Okay, let's see that 65, eh? I'm kind of thinking back on that last trade, and I think I should have just taken the plus 16 on those and been done. Wells Fargo pledges $8 billion in cost cuts. Ugh. New York Fed nowcast GDP tracker for the fourth quarter rises to 2.5% from 2.22%. Well, what do you think? Does this mean that the vaccine news doesn't matter, that the market overreacted to it? Because they cleared that pretty easily, I'd say. I'm still looking at this strategy, trying to figure out why it didn't bust. I bet you if I went back and I had it backtest on just today's data that it would say it. So why doesn't it do it when it's live? Well, a little bit further and that will stop out the shorts. I guess it's time for me to get going, but this is going to be, I wish we could say, because this is an interesting setup. Well, I still ended up making money on my E-mini trades, although it's a little disappointing overall. I only caught like one really big winner. I had three bad trades. But one of these, this one right here, should have taken the profit on it at some point. Husband with a mild cold bids farewell to family from deathbed, says the Bama. I did that many times. I'm still really frustrated by this whole, instead of making this freaking method right here. I still don't understand why. Maybe I have it set to something wrong. Let's check that. We can disable it. No, its loss limit is 1,000. Okay, well, the robots lost some money today. I think that they're positive on the week overall, but it's not very much. So you can see, like, I think that these robots I think that they would be profitable over the year if we'd been trading them that whole year, but there definitely appears to be some enhancements that need to be made, right? I just don't know how to get it to, like, especially when the floor falls out like that, how to tell it to just not do that, you know? Some sort of like velocity type of metric that you don't take it if the velocity is a certain amount. Floor falls out on vaccine concerns. Today's video. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to use something like the slope of the moving average or something like that, right? I don't know. I keep thinking like I could have done a lot better. Mistakes were made, but I kind of changed some things in here today too that were good. So I don't know. I feel mixed for some reason. Slope of it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is like if the slope of the HMA is too negative, then I don't want it to take that trade yet. Because it will literally just could do it over and over and over again when those downtrends start. It rode that whole thing. So it could have been that, you know, well, there was two that were really close. So let's just say that like on a regular day that maybe you would get those two. But then if you eliminate one of those bad ones, or maybe even two of those bad ones because you say that there's too much of momentum with it, then that comes out and it's a profitable day still. You know what I mean? So it can definitely be improved. I just can't for the life of me figure out why it didn't hit the loss limit. Does something different when it's trading live, apparently. Okay, well, I'm gonna get going. It's a good title, and you already have two with Choppy in their title from last year's stuff. Or you been going all the way back a year for me? I think that today's floor falls out on vaccine concerns is fine. So, okay, guys. Well, yeah, hopefully we'll do some stuff with Bollinger Bands this weekend, I think. But I will see you guys on Monday. And in the meantime, let's do lunch, just practicing. Okay. Well, we'll be able to do it here soon now, won't we? Well, I'll wait until your family has all been over for a week and then we can get together. Okay. Stay profitable, friends.